That moment, the queen jumped out again, shouted that they pulled out the last one. Only the girl turned around, gave the hamster and said that there were still a few people in the freezer. And a second later, an ice explosion occurred. Everyone was surprised and did not understand what was happening, how it happened. And the cold energy began to spread throughout the kingdom. The building immediately began to freeze, covered with ice. Residents who were on the street felt an incredible cold. And a huge dragon appeared in the sky in front. This beast was spewing cold and spreading it everywhere. But at some point, it seemed to start feeding on the cold and energy from underground. Therefore, everyone near the tunnel had to turn around and run away, while hiding all the citizens, and a mid-level sword expert had to carry the wounded. While the queen was running, she noticed something. Right in front of her stood the main character, who had gained strength and was about to go into battle. The girl noticed this and began to scream for him not to come closer and run back. And the young man stretched out his hands and refused, said that he could not lose what belonged to him, and activated emergency resuscitation. Suddenly, his hand began to absorb all this energy, and the queen ran closer and told him to stop. A person cannot absorb so much mana. However, everything around immediately began to thaw, and literally in a few minutes, the energy was leaving the kingdom. Then the girl turned around and looked up. A huge loop of cold had formed above them, and a second later, this loop turned into nothing. Only one last projectile was heading towards the main character, and then it turned into a piece of ice. Finally, everything calmed down, the sun's rays enveloped the city. Only snowflakes continued to melt in the air, the danger had passed. Meanwhile, the queen was still next to the main character and could not move from surprise. In front of the day was a huge ice statue. The rest of the subjects also could not believe what was happening. One thing was good, the man, because of whom all this happened, turned into the same statue. Fortunately, Xavier and Shiruya were able to survive. They sat in shock on the floor near the pedestal and realized that the heart of the servant simply disappeared. At the same moment, the ice figure that remained of the main character began to crack at the seams. Meanwhile, people in the city